We're going to look at some Broncos rookie minicamp winners and losers, but really quickly, we are closing in on 22,000 subscribers. So if you have not joined the channel yet, consider going ahead and doing so. It's completely free, and we'll give you wall-to-wall Broncos content all off-season long. It's time for one of my favorite videos of the year, Broncos rookie minicamp winners and losers, where there's not any major winner or any big loser from a 3-day practice where there's no pads on, there's no contact, there's nothing like that, but still, it's a great way for the fan base to get to know the rookie class. So my first winner, I'll be a simp. I'll go with quarterback Bo Nix. He's been the talk of the town. I mean, he is by far the most marquee draft pick in this year's draft class. All the reporters are flocking to his locker room after every single practice with media availability. And it was a love fest for Bo Nix. I mean, just talk to any reporter, go read any beat reporter's breakdown of the 1 day of availability to the media at rookie minicamp. And Bo Nix looked like John Elway and Peyton Manning's love child, depending on who you asked. And honestly, I don't mind that. I mean, this is a fan base that has been searching for a quarterback in the draft for a very, very long time. And if Bo Nix finally puts a screeching halt to the long run and list of QBs that have started for Denver since Peyton Manning retired, everyone's a happy camper in Mile High. So Zach Stevens, I think, is one of the best Broncos beat reporters. He tweeted out first impressions of Bo Nix at Broncos rookie minicamp. Unbelievably accurate, especially on downfield throws. Bo hit nearly every single receiver in stride on the money. Fully in command of the offense. Arm strength, definitely not a concern. Cecil Lammey also adding on to this love fest. Going through more Broncos rookie minicamp notes, I saw command of the offense from Bo Nix, which is a good sign of what's to come. It's early, always a Captain Obvious response, but you love to see comfort and confidence in what to do from a young player. Sean Payton himself talked about Bo Nix. He had glowing things to say. So much of it is huddle, snap count, break the huddle, under center, shotgun. It's a process. He's handling the install well. He had a pretty good practice today. He's grinding through it. He's doing good with it. That's probably the nicest thing any head coach would ever say about a rookie after their first practice. I mean, head coaches tend to view rookies as, I wouldn't say problems, but nuisances, because they've got to teach them everything. And that's what rookie minicamp is. Classroom, install, the way Denver Broncos play football, right? The way Sean Payton's offense works, the way Vance Joseph's defense works. It's very much going back to school and not showing off that you can sack the quarterback or come down with a great catch in the end zone. So very early, but I don't think you could have asked for a better start from Bo Nix, despite it only being a rookie minicamp where there's no tackling, there's no shoulder pads, there's nothing like that, but everyone had great, glowing things to say about the Oregon Duck, or the former Oregon Duck. First loser. You probably saw this one coming. It is Jarrett Stidham. Bo Nix is becoming one of the most popular players in Denver, which means you're just not going to see a lot of pro-Jarrett Stidham reports and analysis and opinions coming out, because Jarrett Stidham is just inevitably standing in the way of Broncos country seeing what everyone wants to see this year, Bo Nix. Whether you like the pick or hate the pick, you want to see Bo Nix play because you want to know whether or not he is the guy. And the longer Jarrett Stidham stands in front of him on the depth chart, the less time we have to know whether or not Bo Nix is the guy. Sean Payton was asked about the Broncos starting QB. He said, "We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll have a rotation, and we'll go from there." So a big reason why Denver moved on from Ben DiNucci, who they released last week, was they didn't want to have the reps be split 4 ways, right? Or 3 ways, whatever it is now. They wanted to have just a 3-man rotation. That means more snaps for guys like Bo Nix. I'm not trying to be a party pooper. It's just I really can't completely buy in like this guy is the next, messiah for Broncos football from rookie minicamp. I could probably get to that stage maybe after like OTAs and mandatory minicamp when he's going out there with the rest of the veterans. But no, I know this isn't what you wanted to hear, but rookie minicamp I think is just a little bit too early for me to go, he's him. Jarrett Stidham, He's going to walk into OTAs and minicamp, I think, as the starter. And I think there will be some growing pains for Bo Nix because this is year 2 for Jarrett Stidham in the Sean Payton offense. Zach Wilson, this is his 4th year in the NFL. These are just guys that have been around the NFL game for longer, which means they know how to command a huddle maybe a little bit better. They know how to deliver a play call. And that is what so much of what OTAs and minicamp are made of. Just, can you get the play right? And then we'll focus on execution as we get into training camp. And that's when the best guys get on the field the most because they can deliver the play and they can execute it. So for Bo Nix, it's about just learning Broncos football and what Sean Payton wants to do. I am going to caution you from just proclaiming him as the week 1 starter. If history tells us anything, that's unlikely. Drew Lock, 2nd round picks, not exactly apples to apples. He did not start until week 13. Of course, you might remember he suffered, I think it was a thumb injury in the final preseason game. So that was a factor in it. Paxton Lynch, well, he just sucked. Sorry, Paxton. But that's why he didn't start till week 5. He did play, I think, in week 4, though, but didn't start till week 5. Brock Osweiler was a 2012 first-round draft pick, I beg your pardon, 2012 draft pick. He did not start until 2015. Tim Tebow was a first-round draft pick. He did not start until week 15 of his rookie year. Jay Cutler was a first-round draft pick. He did not start until week 13 of his rookie year. And John Elway, fun fact, was not drafted by the Denver Broncos, but he did start for the Broncos in week 1 of his rookie season with Denver. So it does go to show that it's not always a smooth process for rookies starting in week 1. Now, who do you think will be the week 1 starter? Zach Wilson or Jarrett Stidham or Bo Nix? I still think it'll be Jarrett Stidham, but I think Bo Nix is going to have that job real soon. But I'm not sold that Bo Nix can win that job in a short time span of now until week 1 in September. But give it week 3, week 4, and we may see a change come pretty quickly. Second winner is wide receiver Devaughn Vele. So went to Utah. He's the oldest guy. He bought everyone all their alcohol for the weekend because he's 26. So some background on the 7th round pick. He spent a few years serving an LDS mission, Jesus Christ Church of Latter-day Saints, before spending 5 years at Utah. He walked on at Utah. And in fact, when he was at Utah, some of the coaching members were like, I don't know if you ever watched him, but you kind of remind us of this old Utah wide receiver named Tim Patrick. Now, Vele gets drafted by the Broncos. What number is he wearing? 81. Whose old number is that? Tim Patrick, who changed to number 12 this offseason, which I think was a good move for Patrick. Back-to-back seasons of brutal season-ending injuries in August maybe changed things up a little bit. So Vele, who was comp to Tim Patrick, went to the same college, is now coincidentally wearing Tim Patrick's old number. Sean Payton, though, did have very nice things to say about the 7th rounder. He has good instincts, and he has really, really good ball skills. In these 2 practices, he's looked better than I even thought for a guy his height. So Vele is definitely in a big competition for some of the wide receiver spots like Sutton, Mims, Josh Reynolds. I think Tim Patrick, like those 4 guys, Troy Franklin as well. They've got roster spots locked up, which means Brandon Johnson, Lil Jordan Humphrey, Vele, Jalen Virgil. These are going to be guys competing for spots 5 and 6, 7-ish on the 53-man roster. But Vele last year for the Utes, 43 grabs, 592 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's got some good elements to his game. And being a 26-year-old rookie means it may be a little bit easier for you up against some of the younger guys because you're just older, faster, and kind of stronger than they are. But once he gets into the mix with the veterans and OTAs and minicamp, we'll see if the hype train can continue. But early reports for the 7th round pick are looking good. Second loser, all the other rookies. And the reason being is anytime your team drafts a rookie quarterback in round 1, that is where all the attention is going to go. Everyone wants to talk about Bo Nix. Everyone's looking at Bo Nix. You're not seeing a lot of eyeballs go to guys like Jonah Ellis, Troy Franklin. Like, they're going to be background characters. Bo Nix is a main character for the Broncos 2024 offseason. So if they were hoping to get some attention and get some spotlight, bad news. You're at the wrong place. Now, if you're looking to get a Bo Nix Broncos jersey, go to chatsports.com/Nix. Producer Sam Brown is already working with Fanatics right now to give himself a Bo Nix jersey. So be like Sam. Go to chatsports.com/Nix. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. If you're on the fence about getting a jersey, I don't blame you for that. They're not super duper cheap. But my only suggestion would be, if you're on the fence, do it now, because good chance is come August, September, you'll decide, all right, I want a jersey after all. And now you've got to wait a month for shipping or something like that. I don't want that to happen to you. Roll up to the first Broncos preseason or regular season game with a brand new Broncos jersey. Third and final winner from the weekend minicamp, running back Audric Estime. So the 5th-round pick out of Notre Dame put together a pretty solid rookie minicamp. Now, no one can tackle him. He can't run anyone over. There's no pads. There's nothing like that. There's no real contact. So how could a running back really make a name for himself in a short time span where he can't do what he's best at? Well, here's what Audric Estime himself said. I'm not trying to hurt my teammates because it's practice, but you've got to finish runs. Got to run with the right pad level. You run to the last guy and a safety will come up and I'll say, nah, you're not tackling me on that play. If we're not in pads, I'll just say, you're not making that tackle. So we're getting some pretty good quotes, getting some good snippets from minicamp, and that's what it's all about. The fan base needs something to chew on until training camp gets around. And Audric Estime saying that, that's going to suffice as a meal or two for me. Last year at Notre Dame, when he was the true number one back for his lone season as that role, 210 carries, 1,300 yards, 18 touchdowns, an average of 6.4 yards per carry. Like, he was an extremely effective and productive player for the Fighting Irish. He just did not test super well at the combine and fell as a result, but I think he has a really good career for Denver as a goal line back. Audric Estime, he said that he thinks he can serve every single role. I'm not quite so sold on that, but I do think for the 2024 Broncos, he can be a really good red zone threat when they get near the goal line, because they have really stunk it up in terms of running balls into the end zone, because they haven't had that true dominant a goal line back in a few years. It's like Melvin Gordon in 2021 before the fumbles in 2022. So very excited for his role in 2024. Now, speaking of Audric Estime, he's got the makings of a potential random Broncos running back. So let's wrap up the show by saying this. Name a random Broncos running back. I'm going no Sean Moreno. That's not super deep, but I think it's good enough to be a random back. Sam Brown, I think you went with C.J. Anderson. So get some good random backs. Give me your random back down below in the comment section. All right, that will do it for us on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed our video. If you did, leave us a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time.